Hi guys, I'm back on the channel to do a pick a card reading to show off my new tarot deck. I've been making it for a long time. You can see some of the original sketches behind me on the wall in my studio. There's an exhibition on at the moment showing all of the finished drawings and the editions of the deck. There's only 100 sets of the deck, signed editions. If you want to get one, the information is in the description box below. I would love clients to get it as well as people in the art world. It is already selling, so if you want one, especially before Christmas, I would order it now. This is the guide, which I wrote as channeled, handwritten interpretations for each card, and there are also spells to say over each section of the deck. My father wrote the Major Arcana guide. He's a Jungian psychoanalyst, as well as being a fellow psychic. So yeah, if you've ever had my healing shadow reading or any of the readings where I've used my other deck, it's the same Major Arcana guide in this one, and it's very powerful. There are also 7 extra cards in the deck, so there are 85 cards in total. This is the back of the deck. There are extra etheric cards. It's all about ether, which is the 5th element in alchemy. It's a very powerful deck, and there's spell work woven into the actual drawings as well as the guide. So yeah, I'm coming back today to do a pick a pile reading to show it off, and also to give you guys the information to buy it, which will be in the description of this video and pinned as a comment. If you have contacted about the deck and haven't heard back the first time, like initially, please let me know, because a few people who had been interested, their emails got lost in the ether. So just let me know so I can ensure, because I really do want to make sure that clients, as well as people in the art world, are getting the deck, because I want it to be used. Ace of Wands on the back of the deck, all about creativity, a new idea, a new project, inspiration, and positive energy. So I'm going to take that as a message for myself. But yeah, these are the pile choices, guys. This is going to be pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. I think this is Dalmatian Jasper. I think that's what it's called. This is Turquoise, and this is Smoky Quartz. I will timestamp the piles in the description below, and I'll just get like 1 card for each pile. Very quick reading. I will be back doing probably some more with the deck, so keep an eye out. And also, if you want a reading with the deck, it is like before. If you get my healing shadow reading, I'll be using the deck. If you get my developing spirituality and creativity reading, or that mentoring package, I'll be using the deck. I'm going to use this deck in those 2 readings, and I'll be using my shadow deck from before in those 2 readings, as well as a few of the other readings as usual. But if you want this deck specifically, healing shadow reading or developing creativity and spirituality reading. I have also used it a little bit for regular clients in other readings, just because I'm really enjoying using it, but you'll be guaranteed to get that deck being used in those readings. And if you like readings from me, it's the most like getting a reading from me without me giving the reading that you can get, because I wrote the guide, the cards are designed by me, they're different meanings to normal, you know what I mean? So it is kind of special. All right, so let's go for pile 1. If you were attracted to this, I think it's called a Dalmatian Jasper. Can we please have a card? Oh, that came out straight away. I'm just going to get 1 card for each. High Priestess on the back of the deck, though, and the 3 of Swords. So you can see the 3 of Swords is a bit of an enmeshment. It's a difficult tangle around the heart. It's about needing to free yourself. And in my deck, this is where my deck is maybe specific, it really does talk about cord cutting and untangling those cords that bind you to stuck people or situations. Maybe your intuition with the High Priestess has been trying to kind of give you that memo that it's important to do this. It may also be that there's someone or something that is not communicating with you in the way that you would like, because the High Priestess is all about like secrecy, but she holds so much power. A lot of you may resonate with the High Priestess as your kind of energy in this. Maybe there's some kind of connection that opened you up to your spirituality, but at the same time, I do feel a lot of pain and a need to kind of alchemize that. I want to read from the booklet for the High Priestess because, as I said, my father wrote the guide for the major arcana. And so it's very, like, different to normal. I can see the Ten of Swords, though, wanting to come out. So I do feel that for this group, there's a bit of a painful ending, perhaps, and a need for surrender. And also, swords are all about intellect, right? And there's a need to free yourself from overthinking, because the Ten of Swords comes after the Nine of Swords, which is the card of overthinking. So it's about a need to surrender and free yourself from this overthinking that's keeping you stuck and trapped and in pain. And maybe instead listen to your intuition. But your intuition is not the same as anxiety or overthinking. I'm just going to read the message for the High Priestess as a final thing for this card. She's called Priestess in my deck, in fact. Okay. She is portrayed between the two pillars of Heraclitus, those of construction and destruction, which together give rise to creation. The anima archetype, a veil between the known and the unknown, linked to powers of prophecy, divination, and inspiration, ruled by the moon, itself reflecting the sun and transforming it. A continuous yet fluxing creation of the new, illuminated through an empathic feminine lens. Interplay of conscious and unconscious, light and dark, self and shadow, giving rise to self-mastery, intuitive understanding, and prophetic dreams. Potential self-development. And in the reverse, which this deck, I never really read in the reverse unless a card reverses itself. I did put this on the back so that people can read reversals if they want to reverse the cards in the shuffle, because it's for other people to use, not just me. But I recommend that people read the reversed message or the shadow aspect, because I think all cards have both. And we should pay attention to both aspects of the card. It's more about what you read around it. And these ones coming out with it is making me think important to read that kind of shadow message, right? Because I feel it's about your intuition maybe being blocked by logic or anxiety. So it's not just that you're this intuitive person. And this is where it's like, how do you know? It's not just about a meaning of a card. It's about how the cards play out together and your own intuition when reading them. But that's why in my deck, I do recommend you read both bits. Okay, so in the reverse or in the shadow, stasis, lack of growth, deception, withholding, blocked intuition, blocked creativity, a need to balance feminine energies regardless of gender. This deck, by the way, is very gender kind of neutral. There's a card for someone who is non-binary, and I try to portray like all the different forms of love and people. All of the people in the deck as well are based on real people, like all of the characters. But yeah, I feel like this situation that you're enmeshed in that's causing you heartbreak is also causing a bit of a block within your intuition and your creativity. And there's maybe a need to connect more to that side of things and less to the intellect, which is keeping you stuck. I recommend cord cutting, surrender, and also coming back into your own intuitive power if you resonate with this group. So I hope that's helpful, group 1 people. And the 6 of Cups is on the back of the deck, so there could be some stuff from childhood. This also could connect to some kind of soul connection or person from your past. But I tried to get one card, but it's impossible. Star card says keep focusing on what you want and that healing is coming, healing and manifestation as a kind of side message, maybe not within this specific situation, but generally speaking. All right, closing down the energies, restoring your fields. Maybe you want to listen to another pile. That's totally fine. Let's see the message for the people who chose turquoise now, Spirit. Nice. One of the extra cards of my deck, the False Prophet card. Now this is inspired by a cult called the Source family. It's kind of my favorite cult because although they were a community that had cult-like aspects and following. And yes, there was some inappropriate sexual conduct between the cult leader and the disciples. They really weren't such a bad cult, and they had a lot of really interesting cultural music and stuff around them. In Annie Hall, they go and eat at the Source family restaurant when they're like ordering like in the vegan restaurant. So it was very much like within culture in the 70s. They used to make some really cool music, and they actually like did do some really interesting stuff, and some miracles did seem to take place within this context. For example, the cult leader decided to fly a kite into a storm when they were in, I can't remember where they went, Hawaii maybe, or somewhere like that. And he actually ended up dying, although there was nothing wrong with him because he crashed. But then that night, a new star appeared in the sky. And he was very much, this is the symbol for ether, and this cult and all the etheric cards have this symbol. It's the 4 elements mixed together. And he was very into stars, and this new star appearing on the day that he died over the place where he died. I mean, all of it is just quite fantastical. So this card is very specific in my deck. It's one of the extra cards, and I will read to you what it's about. But it's about finding connection when you're feeling like you need it, and sometimes it being found in the wrong place. But within that, you can also find, like within a lie, you can also find the truth. Within do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like not as simple as a black or white type thing. So this could be for the people who are getting into spirituality. It's like not giving your power away to, for example, if you watch a lot of pick a card readings, if you're not a client of mine, but maybe you've come across this video and you're hooked in this kind of like giving your power away to understand your future. This card would really recommend against that, but it doesn't deny that there is power and spirituality in things like tarot and psychic stuff, but it's about finding it within the self rather than giving your power away. I will read from this book. I'm just going to get one card for this group. I'm going to balance this here so you can see. I should have done that for group 1. Okay, so this group, I will read from the book. But this is one of my favorite cards, to be honest, even though it's a little bit ambivalent. Like it's not like I'm really against this guy. You know what I mean? It's not black and white. And a lot of things aren't black and white, especially within spirituality. So the extra etheric cards in my deck have a section, and all of the different sections have incantations that you can say to connect to the section. Or for example, the cups one has a love spell because cups connect to water, which is emotion and love, and so there's a spell for love. So yeah, it's a very cool guide that I wrote in a channeled state. Okay, the false prophet, a sense of separation and the desire to feel accepted and in control of a world that can seem meaningless and random. Beware the false prophet offering solutions. Look inward and develop your own intuition and a personally meaningful relationship with the universe. And this is the message that I, as a reader, am very keen to instill to my clients. This is kind of like, I feel, my purpose within readings. Yes, I'm very accurate to predict the future. I'm very good at helping people manifest as well. And that's the best way to predict the future, is to manifest it. But ideally, I like the idea of my clients developing their own intuition, which is why I really would like my clients to get the deck. Because yes, sure, I know that enough people will still get readings with me. I don't worry about that. But it will mean that instead of giving their power away to a reader, they can find their own answers with, you know, their intuition. And of course, you can do that with any deck. But because I created mine, I'm going to think mine is good. So I would recommend that if you like my readings, but you want to keep your power, it's a good thing to get for the in-between times when maybe you just want to see your own intuition coming through. Okay, so also it is an artwork as well. And a lot of people will buy it as an artwork and it will stay probably in a cupboard. And that's why I would love that other people get it too, because then it gets energy, it gets used it gains energy, right, in the world. Okay, so this card can be about intolerance and in terms of the rights and thoughts of others, a cult-like following, giving your power away, religious fanaticism, and it can also talk of love bombing and narcissism, but that would be only in collaboration with or in conjunction with certain cards that I've written out. But let's just get one more card for this group. Why not? Okay, Ten of Wands. There's a need for you guys. I love the Ten of Wands. I think it's such a beautiful card based on an image of a refugee that just really like touched me. So the deck is all based on real people, but some of them are strangers. But obviously the Ten of Wands is about feeling burdened, carrying a really heavy load. I feel for this group, you may feel quite exhausted. You may need to rest. Be careful of what you're giving your energy to when you're feeling depleted emotionally, even in terms of like the TV you're watching or what you're reading, because it feels to me you're very susceptible. Now, this group could definitely be people that watch too many general readings or something because they're feeling burdened or they're feeling stressed. And so it's about not escaping through trying to give your power to another. Nine of Wands coming out with that is really about protecting your energetic boundaries. It can be about even using the body to energetically protect, you know, doing some kind of martial arts or Reiki or anything like that in this deck. But it is a need for you to have your boundaries up and protect yourself so that you don't, because if it goes 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, if you don't do that, if you keep carrying other people as well and other people's stress, you're going to come to the point of overwhelm. And it's almost like you're giving your power away, and it doesn't even need to be in a spiritual way. You're just giving your life force away. So I feel this is a message for this group about people who are like really overburdened at the moment, carrying other people's burdens, giving their energy and power away a little bit. So a message for you to kind of pull back. Oh, I have a good meditation on my YouTube. Should go this way around. This is the Coven card. This is me and my friends doing some spell work. Anyway, no animals were harmed, by the way. I just like the frog as a symbol, an alchemical symbol. The deck is alchemical. But yeah, for this group, if that resonated, I have a soul retrieval meditation for free on my YouTube channel. You might want to listen to that. It would be kind of perfect for you. I also have a cord cutting meditation in my Etsy. If you're a client, you may already have it. Should have said that to group 1 people, but maybe some people are listening to all of these. For a lot of group 2, it could be that you're very overwhelmed by work, and it's almost like you're starting and stopping stuff and not getting it done properly because you're taking on too much. So it's a scattered energy of not grounding enough. In this deck, the 8 of Pentacles is an artist painting, because obviously I work as an artist as well as a psychic. It feels like there's a need to ground yourself in terms of your career and your stability, and maybe you're just fully like just taking on way too much stuff. Even my energy in your reading, I'm scattered. So a real need to focus and ground down for group 2. Okay, let's have a look for the group 3 people using my new tarot deck. It's incredibly good card stock. The cards are really nice and thick, which I'm a tarot geek. It feels good. It doesn't feel too thick, but it feels like not cheaply made. Okay, it's not cheaply made. In fact, it cost a lot to print, so the price reflects that, as well as the fact it's a signed limited edition artwork. We're not really making much on it. 5 of Wands, group 3. I feel like there's some kind of conflict or competition around you at the moment. Now, this can, in my deck, actually lead to really great creative ideas, breakthroughs. It doesn't have to be that competition is always like a no-win situation. That would be more like the 5 of Swords anyway. 5 of Wands can actually be like sparking off other people and creating something from a collective kind of pooling of energies in my deck, depending on the surrounding cards. But you may feel a bit like you're in competition at the moment, and it's kind of like whether or not that is a good thing or a bad thing. Interestingly, I felt that it wasn't just a bad thing, and the 3 of Cups came out, which can be about collaboration. If you're in a third-party situation, though, in terms of you are interested in someone and they're interested in somebody else or something like that, then this can talk about conflict and competition within a romantic connection or even a friendship group. But I also feel for some of you, this can actually be a positive collaborative thing. I'm reading for multiple people, so you'll have to see which one resonates. This can be a polyamorous relationship in my deck, this card specifically, but only with certain cards. This to me seems more like a conflict situation within a third party, But I do also feel like this could somehow spur you to be quite creative in some way. So even if it is that you're in a group dynamic where there's a lot of conflict, I feel like it could be quite creative. Yeah, Strength card. I love the Strength card in my deck. This is based on a singer I know who does soul. I won't say who it is, but yeah. I feel you're going to be overcoming a lot of difficulties, and maybe this is about you finding your power within the collective. So it's about like, who am I within a group, and no longer needing to appease people or please others. Yeah, 8 of Cups. You're walking away from anything that isn't for your highest good. And this is how you're overcoming this kind of shadow feeling of competition or conflict. It's like you're reclaiming your power with this Strength card. I'll read from the Major Arcana guide about the Strength card, because my father, who's a psychoanalyst and psychic, wrote the Major Arcana section of the guide, so I always read it because it's very different to normal. The rest of the deck is channeled by me with spell work included, just in case you missed the beginning where I talked about that. But let's look at the Strength card here. I have to say I absolutely love, I mean, I know I'm biased, but I love using this deck because there are specific cards that just don't exist in other decks that for me, obviously because I made it, I'm like so clear about what it means. And also because I know, like I based the deck on real people. Like when I'm doing a reading about asking something and then that card for them comes out, it's just so crazy. It's like amazing. It shows me that it's really like, I mean, obviously I'm psychic and the right card will come out anyway, but the deck feels like it has so much energy. The only thing I find tricky in all decks is finding the right page. Yeah. Oh, in mine, there are symbols on all of the... Anyway, if you buy it, you'll work it out. But yeah, Strength in this alchemical, because this is an alchemical take on Jungian psychoanalysis that my dad wrote. So this is the process of fermentation is the Strength card. And this is about an elevation to higher form. Spirit enters matter and transforms it. Toxic libido, the sexual or life energy represented by the green lion, will be transmuted. Mercury, the base metal, is transmuted to the healing elixir. The higher self tames animal nature, the shadow or id, through integration, development of the personality, strength of ego function, transformative shadow work, where aspects are reintegrated into the self and valued. And then in the reverse, or what to watch out for, and in my deck, I think you should read both messages because all cards are good and bad, depending on the cards that come out around them. And with this, it's about you overcoming some kind of adversity within a group dynamic, which actually propels you into something creative. But yeah, the reverse is suppression of unconscious desires and drives, repression of personal shadow and sexual libido, over-identification of the self, brittle identity challenged by events. I feel like this is almost about like finding your identity within the group, within a situation maybe where there's all these different people who have different thoughts about how something should be. And it's like, can we do this together? Can we work on this together? Where do I need to walk away and differentiate myself from this? And what shadow aspects is this bringing up in myself that I need to integrate, own, and assimilate? And I'm not going to get into what all of that means within a general reading, but if you have a reading with me, I will explain all of that a lot more. I'm assuming most of you are my clients and you know kind of what I'm talking about and my style by now. I'm mainly wanting to show you the deck because I'm proud of it and it's beautiful. And also I do want clients to buy it. And they have been, but so have art people. And it's very limited. There's only one place you can get it and there aren't going to be more once it sells out. For some of you that where this third party love situation is relevant, and I don't feel that's most of you, I just get a sense of you walking away. Either way, you're walking away from whatever doesn't serve you towards yourself. And it takes a lot of courage to do it, but it gives you a lot of power. And it's like you're rising out of the ashes as the phoenix. There is a phoenix card in this deck. I'm sure if I carried on with the reading, it would come out. I'll post images of my whole exhibition on the community tab once we have them, because I made a really beautiful phoenix sculpture. The phoenix represents the Philosopher's Stone in alchemy, and this deck is all very alchemical. So there's a lot of deep stuff going on within the deck, within my exhibition. There's a phoenix as well on the front within this alchemical vessel. But yeah, it's all about transmuting difficulty into healing, into power, and that's what I try to do with my readings, and that's what this deck is for. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. Sending you all much love, light, and positivity. I will do some quick readings on the channel with the deck in the coming weeks just to advertise it. And so you guys can see it, and because it gets it really good energy. So for those of you who like my free pick a card readings, you are lucky that they've come back, and a lot of people did not unsubscribe, so I guess it was always going to happen. All right, much love, light, and positivity to you guys. Take care and see you soon.